So hey besties, let's go make dinner for that man and them children. And first, we are going to start out with working with our vegetables. We are making steak quesadillas tonight, and I'm so excited because this is one of my favorite meals to make. So for the veggies, we're first going to start off with a red pepper, and I'm going to take the top off of the red pepper. I'm going to circle around and get the seeds out of it, and then we're going to make a slice right down the side, and we're going to start slicing up our red bell peppers. I like to slice mine up as thin as I possibly can, and then we are going to start working on the orange one. We're going to use bell peppers, we're going to use red bell peppers, and we are also going to use the yellow ones, and we're going to use the same process. And this is how I like to cut a bell pepper. It makes it so much easier for me. After we get our orange bell pepper cut, we're going to next start working on our yellow one. Once we get all our veggies cut up, then we can start working on. Once I get all my veggies cut up, whatever I don't use, I do like to put it in a Ziploc bag, and we're going to put it in the freezer and just save it for another meal, for another day. It definitely makes life easier to have things already prepared. Once you put in a freezer, they can last for months up in the freezer. And whenever you're cooking, you can just go in the freezer, pop them out, put them in your dish, and you are good and ready to go. That's definitely going to save a lot of time when you are prepping for your next meal. So now we're going to go ahead and slice up our yellow bell peppers. And once we get those sliced up, we're going to go ahead and start working on our onion. Now, when you're working on your onion, you want to make sure you rinse it off with some cold water. That cold water is going to keep your eyes from tearing because this onion is strong. You can also use a yellow onion, but I just prefer purple because I like a lot of color in my food. The more colorful the food looks, the better it looks to me. That's just my personal opinion. After we get all our veggies cut, I'm going to go ahead, put it in a bowl, give it a good mix, get everything mixed up together. I'm going to take out what I'm going to use for tonight's meal. The rest, like I said, we're going to put in a Ziploc bag and we're going to store it for later. After that, it was time to start working on our steak. So I got my steak out. My steak is already defrosted. We're going to go ahead, give that a good rinse off in the bowl. And I'm going to continue to do this process until my water is running clear. I'm going to remove anything that I don't want on there, any impurities or anything like that. After I get it clean to my liking, then I'm going to go ahead and start slicing up my steak. I noticed that it had a lot of fat on there, so I decided to stop and go ahead and try and trim off some of that fat. And then after I got that fat trimmed off, I'm going to go ahead and start slicing up my steak. I did not realize how much steak we had, so we're definitely going to be able to use this for tomorrow's meal after we cook today's meal. And that knife was just giving me a little bit of struggle, y'all. So I think it's time that I have to tell that man it's time to sharpen up the knives, or we're just going to have to replace our knife set and get a new one. And I honestly really like the set that we have. There's still pieces on the set that I haven't used yet, but you know how when you're using something and you just get particularly comfortable with one thing, it's kind of hard to switch it up. So after we got our meat cut up, we're going to go ahead and start seasoning it. And I'm going to start off with some Tony's Creole seasoning, and then we're going to go in and add a little bit of orange pepper. I feel like beef is something that needs to be seasoned aggressively because it does not take seasoning easily. As if you were doing fish, you can use just a sprinkle and the fish will have flavor. As in beef, it needs a lot more seasoning for you to taste that flavor. Then I'm going to go in with my Pretty Girls No Flavor all-purpose seasoning, and after that we're just going to add in a little bit of olive oil. Then we're going to go ahead and give it a good mix. We're going to mix everything around, make sure everything is evenly coated, get all those flavors combined together, and then we are going to check our steak and evaluate. Make sure that it is seasoned enough to you. To me, it did not look like it was seasoned enough, and I needed to add some more, so we're going to go ahead and add in some more. I always like to start off slow, and if I need more, just continue to add in more until it's seasoned to my particular liking. Now, you can always add more. You cannot take away, so you want to make sure that you take your time during this process. There is absolutely no rush. Once you get your steak seasoned to how you like it, you're going to go ahead, put it in the fridge, and let it marinate for a little bit. While it's marinating, we're going to get our skillet, put on the stove to get hot, and we're just going to put a little bit of oil because our steak still has some type of fat on it, which is going to produce its own oil as well. So we really don't want a lot of oil. While we're getting our steak ready. We're going to make sure that we cook it all the way through. Once we get it cooked how we like it, we're going to go ahead and add our veggies in. I add mine in after my steak is done because I don't like my vegetables too soft. So we're just going to go ahead and let it get halfway soft, but just still have a little bit of crunch. Now, these are the flour tortillas that we're going to use. We're going to go ahead, take one out, get it in the pan, and then we're going to get it nice and crispy. Once we get it nice and crispy, we're going to flip it over, get it crispy on the other side, and then we're going to start adding in our steak and our bell peppers and our veggies. After we get our veggies and our meat in there, we're going to go ahead and start adding our cheese on there. And I'm going to use some mozzarella cheese, but you can use whatever cheese you like. You can also mix and match your cheese, however you like to do it. Once you get your cheese in there, and you're going to be generous with the cheese, don't be stingy with it. Add a lot now because I like it real cheesy. We're going to go ahead and add our other tortilla shell on top, and that's what's going to help it stick together. Get it crispy on both sides, and now we're ready to take it out of the pan. Once I get it out of the pan, I'm going to cut it right down the middle, and then I'm going to cut it on the sides, cutting that into 3 pieces, and we're going to make 6 pieces out of this tortilla shell. So now this is the way that I like to do it. Now that man, he likes to do his a little bit different, and I'm going to show you how he do it. He likes to take his tortilla, put it inside of the pan, get it nice brown and toasted, put his veggies in there, add his meat and his cheese, flip it over and get it toasty on the other side, and go ahead and cut it in 3 pieces. There is no wrong way to do it. You do it whatever way you like. After that, I went on ahead, got me a plate, added me some sour cream, put a little green onions on top for a little bit of razzle dazzle, and it was time to go ahead and enjoy our steak quesadillas. You can also add you some pico, a little bit of lettuce, and it is a 10 out of 10. And if you are loving these videos, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you leave me a like, drop a comment in the comment section, or share this video out. Bye guys.